wanted to make a very quick video. It is entitled Prince and Denise Matthews. But it is also in the title of the video, there is also truth and Scorpio and Sagittarius. Now, first of all, it's a shame, isn't it? What happened? And the death of these two messengers, I suppose. And in my point of view, they were like messengers. They were so inspiring. And actually, when I heard the news of Prince that he died, I looked up to find some information around Denise Matthews, which was his ex-girlfriend. And I was so surprised that she died 2 months ago as well. And Denise Matthews is actually she was an ex-girlfriend of Prince in his early days, and she was known as Vanity. I think one of the most hottest, sexiest creatures ever, dancing on a stage in her underwear and etc. etc. I think that Prince asked her for that group, instead of the name Vanity, to use the name Vagina. She said, we're not going to do that. Now, I don't want to make a video about Prince and his chart and all of that, because, of course, you will always find these things like he's got Saturn opposing his sun sign, but that happens, Saturn transit happens every 7 years. But so yes, you can see that health-wise, there are some things going on as well with his moon in Pisces. His moon was triggered by Saturn as well lately, and Neptune, and so on and so on. But what I'm more interested in is the following. Isn't it, you can see that this is again another two very important people of these times who are such representatives of the truth, or truth seeking, to say the least, and who passed away. There's nothing in the mainstream media that makes me feel like, okay, that was the truth. He's already, how do you call that, cremated or something like that. Isn't that a bit quick? Very strange. There's also stuff on the internet, on YouTube, that certainly is not satisfying in my point of view, when they are just making theories after theories. So it really is a problem these days. It is a huge problem of our society that we don't have any basic trust anymore. We cannot have a basic trust in when it comes to the word information. We have too much of it. It's so hard to find the truth. And so even in the death of a huge pop star, but he was not only that, I think he was a huge messenger. I was not the biggest fan of Prince, neither of Denise Matthews, but I thought what they did was really unique. And I saw him once doing a performance, and it is true. Although he was like exuding love, it really was. I hope I'm not too cheesy, but he was exuding love, and wonderful dance music. That's why I liked it, because I like music where you can dance on. And but the most important thing is that these are two people who really wanted to know the truth, and who were always seeking for the truth, and who were also knowing that they weren't God. I remember in an interview once I saw a long time ago that Prince, he said, they said to him, "Oh, the performance was fantastic, you did it right." And he said, "No, I didn't do it alone." He meant, of course, that he is not God. He is not. He's just a messenger, and that is so important, because in these days, to know that if I would be God, for instance, and a client comes over and they are in a very dramatic state or in a crisis, I would say, "Look, I'm going for you. I'm going to put the planets in a different place." That would be God, wouldn't it? That is, we are I'm not saying that we don't have any power at all, on the contrary, but we need to be aligned, don't we? We need to be aligned with the good. And I think the lives of these two people, and especially I also want to mention Vanity's life, if you follow that a little bit of, not following, but looking it up, how she changed her life with a huge U-turn. You see two things that are so important here, which is the Scorpio energy and the Sagittarius energy. And I want to talk about that because now, from now up until approximately August, we have an emphasis on these two signs. We have an emphasis on Scorpio and Sagittarius going on at the moment. Now Mars and Saturn are in Sagittarius, but Mars will go back next month into Scorpio. So we will get some Scorpionic energy as well for quite a while. And now these two people really represented the Scorpio energy, because not only because of their lives, because both went to extremes. They for Prince it was obvious. Denise Matthews, she started with that vanity image, you could say, of the hottest and the sexiest and the most seductive and manipulative woman in the world, which she probably was at that moment. And that you could say the darker side of Scorpio. But then she went to the other extreme. She went to look all that darkness, all that sexuality, all that wanting to seduce, that's all Satan, she said. And she went towards becoming an evangelist. She did, I think she wanted to give power to people and to inspire them, and so that they could find their own power. And I think that's way more positive, isn't it? Although I don't want to go to these extremes, because I think it was difficult for her to find the middle ground of, you can say all your dark stuff is wrong, but like for instance her sexuality, I don't think sexuality is wrong at all. It's how you, if you try to seduce all of the time and manipulate, yes, that's not the good thing. But sexuality in itself is not a wrong thing. And I think she went a bit that road. Anyways, but she really did shift her life dramatically. And that's what Scorpio is all about. She and the search for truth for both of this man and woman who was so looking for the truth, did it in the Scorpionic way. I think that Prince had his rising sign in Scorpio. She had her moon in Scorpio, Moon-Neptune conjunction, but opposing to Mars and squaring up to Uranus. That's why she was so unusual, a very unusual lady. And that needs to find its way to express itself. It is, I think there are examples of, and messengers, as I already said, of finding that truth. And the other thing is that we are living now in this very Sagittarius kind of energy, which is a bit different from, so I think if there are two signs that are truth-seeking, it's Scorpio and Sagittarius. Scorpio does it in a digging deep, going to the extreme actually, which is not making it easy. It's therefore it's a crisis-prone kind of sign, because it has to go so deep to find its truth. And but Sagittarius is more, it does it more in an extroverted, flamboyant way, you could say. They kind of have that helicopter view. They want to know it all. So they would, for instance, these are the people that are open to all kinds of views, so that they can see what the truth is through their experience as well. Sagittarius is a very wise sign, and it's because also not only looking at truths, like observing like the Scorpio does, but also integrating it and experiencing it, and then finding the best way, or the truth, you could say. And we are all going through that period with this Mars so long in Sagittarius and in Scorpio, in finding our truths and finding also the difficulties with that. So we're like too much of information and that basic trust that is lacking. I think their message was certainly that if you want to find the truth, you must have a bit of a basic trust. And the basic trust is that in God, if you don't believe in God, in something that is bigger than you, in the universe to say the least, or in your highest self to say the least, because you're gonna need that. If you don't have that, it's a life of fear, and it's a life of you can look in the newspapers, can't you? I already mentioned that in the video about Belgium and its attacks of terror. So yes, do continue in that search for truth, and don't give up, and make sure that you find that alignment, that you find that connection on a feeling level. Because that is so important, because otherwise people will get out of their minds, as you see on the internet, and I don't want to say everyone is going crazy on the internet, but it's not fulfilling. It's not fulfilling, and I think that's because there is a lack in basic trust. It's a problem of society. I read a book about that, which was called Borderline Times. So it's the problem of society is having a borderline issue, which is actually it's a mental health disease, but it's like society is having that mental health issue, which is not trusting anything. And when you are in that stage, you are totally disconnected. And I think these two people, may they rest in peace, but if they taught me one thing, it was like in finding that connection. And that's really, really, really important. So I think you do that too. Thank you so much for watching this little video. I hope you will find your connection as well, and to find that strength to be able to face the truth, and to get through that journey that we are all going through. On that note, I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.